All right. Well, thank you all for coming out today, band camp. So, what band is this one? Concert. Awesome, awesome. Well, I see some friendly faces that have had this before. Hopefully, everybody's in here that wants to be in the computer and music class, right? Anybody not? Anybody in the wrong area? I think everybody is probably here that wants to be here. Well, let's talk about a few things, and then we'll dive into everything pretty much. We'll talk about computers, and I know that when I first started teaching band camp, I guess back in '95, I asked folks if they actually have used the mouse. About half the class have used the mouse, and next year pretty much everybody did. And I asked at one point who all had a computer, and little by little it got to a point where everybody did. And who has internet now? Everybody has internet. So we're at the point where I'm assuming that you guys all have computers at home. You all have internet access. Probably have all high speed internet access, unless you live in a really rural area. And within 5 years, everybody will have high speed internet via Wi-Fi, some incarnation of Wi-Fi and whatnot. Well, let's talk about this. Is that you guys use the computer for so many things? What are the things that you use the computer for?
Essays.
For essays? Research, homework. What else? Entertainment. So what type of entertainment things can you use the computer? Games.
Videos.
You watch movies now. Music, of course.
See what's going on in the news and stuff.
Stay up to date with news, email, chats, the type of communication things. You know, the MySpace, the Facebook type things, where the social networking things that you can stay in communication with a lot of folks. So all these things that we use all the time, we don't even really think about how powerful and what all the things that little box does. And we have little computers on us all the time, like the cell phone's basically a computer. And here's a computer chip. And this particular one, does phone calls, but it also takes pictures, and I could surf the internet if I wanted to pay the high cost of bandwidth with it. So it's basically a little computer in my pocket. Well, computers can help us make music as well and do a lot of things. So this week I'm going to show you guys 4 programs. 3 of them works on Mac and PC, and a couple of them work even on Linux. And one of them is only Mac specific. However, there are other programs that are similar to it on the PC side. So it's kind of like this. Once you learn how to use a word processor, it doesn't matter what word processor is. You understand cut and paste, how to copy, spell check. They're all similar. You just have to look and find where it's at. Well, if you understand what looping is and how to make a loop and how to extend a loop, well, it doesn't matter what program you're using, be it Fruity Loops or Acid or GarageBand or Soundtrack or whatever program you're going to use potentially. So if you understand that, that's the big gist of it. So let's dive right into this, and we're going to start with Finale's Notepad today, which is the music notation program that's free to download. And all the programs I'm going to show you, save for GarageBand, is free. Now GarageBand comes, if you buy a new Mac, like all these are new Macs in here, you buy a new Mac, it comes with GarageBand automatically installed. But the Finale's Notepad's free, Audacity's free, iTunes is free, and then the only one that's if you got a PC that you can't get is GarageBand. If you got a Mac that's within 3 years old, you got some version of GarageBand probably on your computer already. All right, so let's get started. All right. Well, we're going to open up Finale Notepad. For the first few minutes, just watch me first, and I'm going to turn you guys loose on using the Finale Notepad. So Finale Notepad is a free program that you can download off the web. And just watch me for right now. This little box comes up. Just hit continue. They want you to buy other programs, but for right now, we'll just say continue. Finale is the big program that if you don't understand how to use Notepad, you can use Finale, all these other programs as well. So we'll just hit continue. And for a title, we can type in a name. For right now, I'll just type in song. And composer, I'll just type in me for right now. And this little wizard kind of has you follow through. I'm going to hit next. And on here, you can pick basically whatever instruments you want. So some folks say trumpet in here. So I add a trumpet. How about trombone? I can hit add trombone. How about probably a flute player? Any flute players? And how about clarinet? Add. And so I could do that if I want to. Now, for you guys that are band folks in here, you know how to write for your instrument. You may not know how to write for a full band or or a quartet or something like that. But every one of you knows how to write for yourself on a particular instrument, right? Like you play trumpet, you know what notes sound good for you. You know what key you sound good in. So for our purposes today, I'm just going to pick one instrument. And tell you what, I used to play trumpet back in when I was in band. So I'll just pick trumpet because I know how to write trumpet for me. I'm going to hit next. But if you do want to do like a duet of 2 trumpets, well, you can write for 2 trumpets if you can write for 1. I'm going to hit next. And now here comes the key signatures, which you guys all know. If you're in bass clef, it still has a treble clef. If you go up, it's sharps. If you go down, it's flats. All right. And I say, what's a good key for band? Concert B flat. That's a pretty good key, isn't it? And the type signatures, whatever you want. I'm just going to pick 4/4 for right now. So I hit finished. And now here comes basically the little program itself. Under Windows, these are all the palettes that pop up. And I'm going to open up the rest palette as well. Okay, so here it is out to the side. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to input notes in Notepad. One is the very easy, simple note entry, basically, and I'm going to hit on a note. Now, we won't go over a lot of composition in here, but we'll talk about this. If I'm in B flat, and actually, because it's transposing here, it's put the concert, which is C. If I'm in the key of C, what's the tonic? What's the home pitch of the key of C? C, yeah. So what note should I probably start my piece on? C. And what note should I probably end my piece on? C. So basically, whatever the key you're in, you start with that key and you end with that key. Now, the last note, the second to last note, the penultimate note, should either be a note above or below that C. So what would those 2 notes potentially be? D or B. Okay, B is what they call the leading tone. So that really sounds good going back to home. All right. So if you want to end a piece, you end it with that lower, either above or below, and then the tonic. Or if you want it to be the end of a phrase, end it on the note above or below. It makes it sound. I'll do examples so you can hear both of those. So I'm going to hit half note, and I will start off with C, and then maybe put some quarter notes in there just for fun. And go back to half notes. And I'll do a whole note just for grins. And I'm going to do one of the... Okay? And now I'm going to do another phrase. And we'll put a couple chord notes in there. Okay, I'm going to hit rewind. Now notice up here is basically like a tape recorder or like an MP3 player that you use on the computer or whatnot. I hit stop, I hit rewind, and I hit play. Let's make sure it's kind of loud so you can hear it. And you see how that worked? See how this first phrase here, I ended on the note below the tonic, and then it didn't sound like it was over. And in this one here, I ended, the note was below it, and then I ended above, ended on the tonic. And see how that sounded like it was over at that point there? So if you want to do like 2 phrases where it doesn't end, and then you finally end, well then that's a way that you can do that as well. All right. I will say this, for the piece that you're going to make, write rhythms and write pieces that you can actually play. Okay? So don't put 10,000 notes in there. You know, if you put 10,000 notes in a measure and the computer crashes, that's why. Okay? That's why the computer crashed at that point there. Put in rhythms that you can actually play and so forth. Now I'm going to show you the way that I usually don't use the point and click method to input notes anymore. What I use is basically I start from my first pitch. Let me do another phrase. And see how that's pinkish looking, I can use the arrows to go up and down and find the pitch. So let me say I want to start with that pitch there. Then I hit enter on the typewriter, enter on where the number pads are at. And now if I hit 4, it becomes eighth notes. And I can just go down. And then if I hit 5, it goes back to quarter. And let's say I want to do some half notes, that's 6. And if I want to do a whole note, it's 7. And see how that works? And if I want to put a rest in, let me put a half note rest in. And I hit R on the typewriter, that becomes a rest. Okay. So that's the way I input notes, is with the number pad, and I use the arrows to go up and down. And so forth. And after a while, you get pretty good at doing some things. If you happen to be playing something, doing some music that's actually for 4 mallets or something like that, what you can do also is that you can put a chord in here. So if you're doing piano, let's say I want to do like a chord for this particular measure here. So if I wanted to do a 4 mallet part, any mallet players in here? Okay. So if I wanted to have that, that's how you can stack things. If you want to do a duet and most of it's on one line, but you want to kind of like, all right, well let's have this be, let's go to a third there. That sounds kind of cool. And if I make a mistake, I can hit the eraser, and I can erase that note. Or in this case here, see how that's still kind of highlighted? Go back to a note. I can click on that note. Whoops. Oh, I should be able to move it up and down. There we go. Okay. And so forth. If I want a dotted rhythm, I click on the dot and the rhythm itself and put it in there. And make sure the dot's turned off for the next one. And if I want a triplet rhythm, I pick the duration I want. Let's say I want chord note triplets. Hit a chord note, hit triplet. If I want a tie, see I got tie. I put 2 notes in there that are the same. And then I hit the little tie button, and I click on the head of it, and bam, there it is. That puts the tie there. Great. 2 more things, and then I'll turn you guys loose. Slurs are really cool to have. So here's how you do a slur. You click on the slur button, and you double click on the first note. It's the note head itself, and it pops up. Now if you want a slur that goes further, you can take those little arrows, and then you can do like phrase marks if you want. And you can arc it over if you want. Okay. Crescendos are kind of nice, diminuendos and crescendos. You double click where the point's going to be at, and you pull the opposite direction. So wherever the point's at, and you pull the opposite direction if you want a crescendo or diminuendo. And here's this little arrow, this little tool right here is the where you have accents and whatnot. So let's say I click on the note head, and I want it to be staccato. So what does staccato mean? Short. Can anybody think of another way? Detach. I like that better. Separated or detached. What about tenuto? What about tenuto, Mark? Almost touching. I think of it as being like connected together. Yeah. Connected together. Then if you got an accent, you know what an accent means, right? Mm-hmm. So. A notepad, and also if you want to put dynamics in here, so let's say I want to put in, fortissimo, and then I can move this around, or makes it fit right, and then I'll go back here to this tool here, and I can move that over a bit, right? And that's basically the first part of this. I'm going to let you guys get loose. On a Mac, things are a little bit different. If I close that down, the program is still up. See how you see Finale Notepad up here? And if for some reason you get off of it, down here at the bottom here is what they call a dock, and you just hit on that dock, and the Finale will open back up, and then you just do File New, okay? And when you get done, you can go File Save. All right. So let's all do this together now. So open up Finale. And you should get this little wizard pop up. I'll let everybody get there first. And just say continue, continue. And then type in the name of your song. You can just type in song for right now. And you can come back and change that later if you want. Song and composer, you can put your name. I can put my name, Herb. And we'll hit next. And for right now, I say go ahead and just pick one instrument for right now. Unless you know for sure you want to do a quartet or duet. And I'll pick something different this time. I'll pick flute for me. I'll just hit add. Okay? Everybody got that? Awesome. I'm going to hit next. And now let's pick a key signature that you like. Tell you what, I feel like doing a sharp key. I'm going to do G major. And then I'm going to pick 3/4. Just do something a little bit different. All right? So you pick whatever key you want, though. You can pick whatever key that you want. All right? Everybody's at that point? Awesome. Now I'm going to hit finished. And now the manuscript paper pops up. So whatever key you're in, what I would suggest is that that's going to be the first pitch that you're going to play in there. So I'm in G, so my first pitch is going to be G. So whatever key that you're in, and you start putting notes in, or you can do the other method like I talked about, where I'll put a note in, and I'll use the number pad, use the arrows to go up and down, and then I hit enter, and then I can pick another note to go in there and whatnot.
Am I going to go back and change the signatures? Because I didn't put that in the insurance.
Yeah, go into File and just do it again. Just do the wizard again. So File New. Next one over. And then say New, yeah. And then just do the wizard again. All right. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go at this for a few minutes, and then I'll give you some closer tips in a bit. All right. Well, let me show you guys a few other things, just to kind of get you going. If you make a mistake, obviously you can take this little eraser here and erase something. So it's the eraser tool here. Now this is actually a pretty handy tool to be able to do this. Let me type in a few things in here. Let's say that was really good. What I can do is this tool right here is called a mass mover tool, right here by the A, big A. I click on it, and I click once, and I hold down Shift on the typewriter, and I can highlight all those, and now I can copy that. And I drag it over here. It says how many times. I'll just do it one time for right now. But if I wanted to do, let me get rid of that dot. Let's say those two measures were exactly going to be the same again. I can highlight that mass mover tool, hold on Shift, and let's say I'm going to do that. Let's do that 3 times. All right. Or I can do one measure 2 times. So see how that works? Is that if I wanted to copy something, that's how you can copy something. And oftentimes it's in phrases. Like if you have 4-measure phrase that's really good, you can often use it, and you can also highlight this way as well if you only got. All right, that's one really handy tool. The other thing that's really handy is the A tool, is the text tool, and you just double click wherever you want. So if you want to say, okay, let's make this fast or presto or whatever you want to call it, we can. If you want to change the name of your song, you can double click on that box, and now it's highlighted, and I can call this my song or whatever I want to call it. There we go. And so forth like that. And I can move stuff around if I need to a little bit as well. Whenever you're on something, notice when I change the tool, those little control points go away. But if I go back to that same tool, well, then now I can move it around if I need to. So that's kind of a handy little, those are some handy little tips there. This is kind of nice also for like endings. If you want to do like a repeat area. Let's say I want to repeat this first area here. I can just put, and I can put, whoops. So I can have that be I can have that repeat if I want to. And if I don't want that there anymore, I can click on it and hit delete, and it'll go away. A little box there, and it goes away. We didn't talk about accidentals, but if you have an accidental, so let's say, I don't have any F sharps in there, but let's put one in. So that's an accidental there. Or if I want to add a flat to something, like, and you have to click right on the note head for it to work. One last thing, I know that you guys are all, this is pretty much all Bandcamp here. If you want to put lyrics in, like you're doing a song, this is the lyric tool, and you tap on the first measure, and then you just start typing, I am so cool. And it won't sing for you. Now, if I do like all, and I hit a hyphen, it goes to the next word, ways, then, and it spaces it out for you the best it can. So that's this tool right here, and if you hover over it, it tells you the names of the tools that you're using. Also, like if let's say that you want to add a measure, you could, let's say I want to add a measure in there under here and say add measure, or in this case here I want to insert a measure. So that's how you insert a measure if you need to add a measure, or if you want to delete a measure. Let's say I want to delete that measure, I can delete that measure, and that's under this measure tool right here. And I really think that's all the tools I need to really talk about, other than if you want to rewind it and play. If you want to speed it up and speed it down, you can use the tempo here. If I want to 300. Actually, it works all right with that. Anyways, so and you also tell it to repeat or not to repeat. So that's really basically the main things about this. You also have this here, like I had someone that had a question, they put something in trumpet and they went in C and it kept coming up D. Well, you can display in concert pitch, and a flute's already a concert pitch instrument, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so this is what we do now. If you want to save it, go into File, Save. If you think you want to work on it tomorrow, and just type in your name. And then just hit Save. All right? And when you get done, File, go into this area here, it says Finale Notepad, and say Quit. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great rest of Bandcamp. All right, everybody. Today we're going to talk about GarageBand and so forth. And this is basically the loop-based sequencer that we can do a lot of really cool things with and whatnot. So our goal is to be able to pretty much have you guys make a CD and take home with you. And really, it's pretty easy to do. So what I'm going to do is let me take about 2 or 3 minutes and show you what I can do with GarageBand. Then I'm going to break it down piece by piece for you. So for the next few minutes, just watch me do this up here. If someone will kill the lights back there, that would be awesome. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on up if you can't see. Definitely, definitely. All right, let me get this focused on the computer a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. All right, I think that's pretty good there. Okay. Make sure my big head didn't get in the way. Big arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up GarageBand, which is the loop-based one. And sadly, this is the only program I'm going to show you this week that's not PC. However, there are PC programs that are like it. On Thursday, I'll talk about some of those programs. So when I open it up, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this little eyeball down here. And what comes up are the loops. I'm going to hit beats, and I can scroll down and find me some beats that I want to use. So if I like that one, I can audition them just like that. And if I don't want to hear it anymore, I just hit close on it. Let's say I like that beat. Let's say I like that beat there. I'm going to take that beat and I'll drag it up. And notice how under here, under the piano, see how that little plus comes up? And I have my loop come here. And once I have it here on this track, I can move it around. So once I have this up here, and this is the hardest part. If you get this, you can do everything. 50% and lower, I can make the beat smaller, make the loop smaller. 50% and higher, see how it comes like a little hook, little loop type thing? And I tap on that and drag, I can make that as long as I want. For our purposes, I'll just make it 8 measures long. And I'll pick another beat to contrast. Alright, so I'll take that beat there and I'll drag it, and see how the cursor pops up where I'm going to line it up at? It automatically jumps to that measure. So I'll do this, drag that over a little bit. And this is the hardest but easiest thing to do in some ways. If you hold down Option on the typewriter, on the keyboard, but it's because we have a piano keyboard and the typewriting keyboard is called the typewriter. The typewriter, hold down Option, and I click on the first one, and I drag. It makes a copy of that, and I'll have that here. So basically, what I like to think about when I make music, I just don't throw things at random. In music, and in particular, like in a rock and roll type song. What would be an A section in a rock and roll song potentially? Can you think of what's the first thing you normally hear in a song? Okay, a verse. Okay, so we'll call it verse 1, A. What would be something that's different, that's contrasting to the verse? A chorus. We can call that B. Then oftentimes you're going to go back to a verse, right? So that's one of the simplest forms is ABA form. So think in form when you make your music as well. So if you got that, that's cool. If you didn't, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hit reset now because I got my drum beats. And I'm going to find me a synth because I really like synths a whole lot. And let me find me some cool... Oh, I kind of like that one. And let's say I'm going to have 2 measures of drum beats first and then the synth will come in. And what I'll do is I'll loop this over a bit. And I'm going to do what's called dovetailing. I'll talk about that in a second. Alright. I'll take that one and put it there under it. And I can do the same thing. I can loop it 50% higher. I can loop that. I'll make that dovetail also. And what I'm going to do now, right here, this pulls up where I can control the volume. And this is what I call basically what you're doing a crossfade. And what that means is that you're going from one track that's sounding and it's going softly while another track is getting louder. And it comes up and it fills up and it really has a cool sound to it. Okay. And I'll do the same thing over here. I'll do a crossfade over here. And let's say I want a difference. So I'll do a different one this time over here. And I'll put it on that track there. And I'll do a crossfade into that. And I'll loop that to the end. And maybe have it be the last thing that we hear. Fade out that way. And I'll tell you what, we'll do a gradual fade in on this also. So and if you want to see it anymore, you can just do that. So I hit rewind. I'm gonna hit reset. Let's add one more thing. How about we add some shakers or something like that. I like shakers. Okay. And let's say I have some shakers come in towards the end of this beat here, and I'll let that go there and find a different shaker. Alright, I can remember that one. Have that go on for the B section. And I'm going to hold down Option and make a copy of that and drag that over and have this be for my A section again. And just because I don't want the shakers to stop, all of a sudden I'll do a crossfade. I'll do a fade out on that also. Alright, so I'm going to hit rewind. Let's hear what I got. It's a little boring. I need to add something in there. All right, let's say that was great. What I can also do is this, and I'm going to go over this more next time, but I'll show it briefly now, is that this here is hooked up to the MIDI keyboard. So if I double click on it, I can pick a different sound. So let's say I want to pick a... Let me find it. Let's say I like that beat there, I like that there. So if I want to, I can hit record and make a melody on top of that. So I recorded a melody on top of that. So let me say, I'll say save. And just for fun, what I can do is this. I can export this to iTunes. And so, give it a second. Crunch in the numbers. There it is there. And if I want to, I can now put a CD in there and hit burn disk and make a CD that quick. So that's GarageBand in a nutshell. All right. Well, let's tell you what. Let's all do this now together. What we're going to do is this. We'll go into GarageBand. And shake your mouse or open up GarageBand. And what I want you to do first, if you don't see the screen pop up, go do File New. What I want you to do is hit is New Music Project. And then type in your name. This is my second class, so I'm going to name my Herb 2. Okay, and you're probably going to see someone's track already, your beat's already up. But so go under File and say New. That way you don't record over their own stuff. And then type in your name. So that way you'll have your own piece. Okay, does everybody see how to do that? Type in your name for the file name, and then hit OK. Don't worry about the time and key signature for right now. You can do that later. You can deal with that later on if you want. Okay. If you got some stuff up, make sure you do File New and then make a new project because you don't want to record over anybody else's stuff. Then hit Create. And what's going to open up is this blank screen here, basically. It's going to be that grand piano that's blank. Does everybody have that? I think so. Awesome. So let's do this together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the eyeball. And what comes up are our loops. Let's just do this together. Let's do a beat together. So let's hit beats. And scroll down and find a beat. I don't care what it is. Just something. Okay? So put on your headphones and find a beat real quick. Right now, I don't care what it is. I just want to make sure that you know how to make a loop. All right? So whatever beat you got right now, that's fine. What I want you to do is tap on it and drag it up under the grand piano and see that plus and then lit up. Okay? And if you want, you can move it around if you need to. But all right? Now, what I want you to do is go 50% and higher, and you see that little loop thing at the end of it. At the very end of it, 50% and higher, tap on it with your mouse and then drag it out a few measures. That's how you make a loop. Now, pick another drum beat and put it under that beat. So you have, this time you're going to have 3 tracks. So the grand piano and then 2 drum tracks. I don't care what it is. Just take something and drag it under it. Alright? Now, if you need to move it around, move it around. And now, do the same thing. Make that a little bit longer. Is everybody able to do that? Just grab a beat. I don't care what it is right now. You go back and then make another track in a second. Alright, does everybody have that? 2 beats up there? Okay. And make sure you didn't put it on the grand piano track, because if you put it on the grand piano, it's going to play it back as piano, not as drums. Just pick another beat for right now. We'll make a new file in a moment.
It's not letting me make it bigger.
Okay, tap at the very end of it. Go a little higher, 50% and higher. Okay, and then you see that little. Okay, there you go. Yeah, make sure it's 50% and higher. Then you have that little loop thing there. Now, here's the advanced thing. If you get this, cool. If you don't, that's fine. You can just do it twice the other way. Hold on Option on the typewriter. Tap on that first beat and then drag it all the way and then move it to where you want to put it. That's how you make a copy of that same original beat. Hold down Option and tap and drag and make sure, yeah, and put it wherever you want to put it. That way you have an ABA form right off the bat. Okay? One last thing. If you want to do the crossfade, this little button right here makes it where the volume comes up, and you click 2 times, the beginning and the end, and you pull the bottom one down, beginning and end, and you pull this time you do the opposite one down, and you may want to extend your loop out a little bit so that way you'll be able to hear that crossfade. All right, so watch over here again. Tap, tap, that's going to fade in that way. Tap, tap, that's going to fade out, and I'll extend the loop. And that's how you do a crossfade. If you don't have to do a crossfade. And matter of fact, don't do a crossfade all the time, but it is handy to be able to do a crossfade. All right. So I'm going to turn you loose. You got like 30 minutes to work on your drum sequence, or work on your beat. There's no reason, and then when you get done, hit reset, and that way you can pick another sample to put up there as well. All right. And if you did want to record MIDI, you can put on the grand piano and you just hit the record button, and you start. But I'm going to talk about that more tomorrow. And if you make a mistake, here's another thing: if you don't want a track, click on the track itself. Go on a track and say delete track, and it goes away. All right? Or if you don't want that particular one there, you can just click on it and hit delete, and it goes away also. All right? Good. we'll talk more in a bit. Alright, well last time we talked about GarageBand. I want to show you guys a few other cool things that you can do with GarageBand. And I'll do a quick little review just in case you might have forgot something between now and yesterday, which I very well could have forgotten something as well. So what I'll do is I'll just make a new track. Herb 22. And hit the eyeball here, and it pops up. And I'll hit on beats. Thank you. I'll hit on some beats, and really it doesn't matter exactly what beat I'll do. I'll just pull out something and scroll down. Blah 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 blah. There we go. Put it there. Move where I want. If I want to loop, I go 50% and higher. See that there? I go up and down. It changes between making it smaller and then making it longer. So I'll do that. Now let's pick on another beat. Kind of contrasting. And I'll do the same thing with that one there. Loop that a touch. And if I want to make a copy, I hold down Option on the typewriter, and then I just drag that over. So now I got an ABA form going on, and that's fine. I hit reset, and I'll do real quick. I'll do a synth or something, just maybe a pad or something. Fine. I'll have a pad come in, and I'll just loop that for the whole thing for right now. All right. So what we didn't talk about yesterday very much was how to actually take the keyboard and record things. So the default is I got a grand piano that's there. So if I go over and double click on this box pops up, and I can pick different sounds.
What'd you double click on?
If I double click on the GarageBand, I mean when it says grand piano itself, it pulls up the different sounds. Let's say I like that sound there. I can hit the little eye right here, and it closes it down. That way I get more screen back. I hit rewind, I hit play. So forth, and it records that there, which is kind of cool. If you didn't want to track, you hit on it. We talked about this last time, and hit track and delete track, and that's kind of a useful feature to have. And I'm going to delete the 2 percussion tracks first to show you something different. If I hit the little plus button that's down here, what pops up, it says, do you want to record a software or a real instrument? So we're going to do a software instrument because we're using the piano keyboard. The mini keyboard it's here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit for those that can make better dance beats, drum beats. I'll tell you what, we'll do a techno kit just for fun. I hit I. And now, so I've hit record. And I got ears, I know that's off. But let's say that was a really good sample. I can loop that myself. I can make that my loop as well. So I could option it and make copies of it and do other things to it as well. So that's a really handy feature if you want to make your own drum beats. Let me show you something that's really that makes life a lot easier, because it's hard to play 4 things at the same time. It just is for me, and I think it is for most folks as well. So I have all those sounds that I could potentially use with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit this little button right here out to the side, and this is what's called a loop record. And see how this little area having up here? I'm going to make it shorter too, but you can do 8 measures or however long you want. I'll do 2 measures just for time constraints. So it's this area right in here that I'm pulling in, and this button right here turns it on and turns it off. And what loop recording does, it's probably easier for me just to do it, just to play. So I'll just 3, 4. so I can keep on layering sounds over and over and over again. Now, one thing about percussion, any percussionists in here? Okay. How many things can a standard rock kit play at one time? Maybe 5. You got 2 arms and 2 legs, so that's really all. You can do at one time. You know, crash a cymbal or something like that. So that's really all you can do. So usually when I record drums, I try not to do more than 3 or 4 things at one time. Okay, unless you got 2 or 3 drummers in your band, which it's not impossible to do that. And let's say that was a really good sample, I can loop that for my piece and then listen to it. I got ears. I know it wasn't perfect. Okay, so there it is. One last thing today, and we won't get a chance to have you guys do this, but if you do happen to have this program when you go home, I want to at least touch on this. I hit plus. I'm going to hit a real instrument. Create. And let's say this was really good, and for right now, I'll just use no effect right now. I'll just have my guitar here. So what I'm going to do, there's a built-in microphone, and normally what I would do is I'd wear my headphones. That way I won't get a bleed through. But for today, I'll just let it play naturally, and I'll just do some type of rock beat or something or other and see what happens. So now this is recording live here. So rewind. Maybe I'll record it again and just play a little bit softer so that way it won't be so loud. I won't get as much bleed through. I'll just do it again. Okay. So I hit stop, I hit rewind, and it's going to play it back, obviously. You hear that in there, which that's kind of cool by itself. Now, if I double click on here, I can come over here on effects, and if you want heavy metal or something. So you can do that with live instruments. So if you play trumpet or clarinet or saxophone or whatever instrument you do, you can play that into your computer and have that come out. The other thing that you can do is that you can record vocals. So once you got your beats going well, if you can rap on top of it or if you can sing on top of it, you can do that as well. And there's a fix for that. So I won't do a whole lot of that, but just for fun, I'll show you. Do ambient vocals. I'll delete that. Turn the volume down. Whoa, 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 yeah. Bandcamp. Everybody together, ready? Bandcamp.
Okay.
Let's see how that sounds. Okay, you get the idea. That you can record vocals on this if you want to as well. And GarageBand is really a pretty amazing tool for what it is, and I think you guys all appreciate that and enjoy that a great deal. All right, so I'm gonna be quiet and let you guys go at it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. This is the last day of band camp, so we got a couple of goals today. One is to have everybody either record a CD of music that they made in GarageBand or print up a song from Notepad, or you can do both if you want to. So I want to show you a couple of programs that work on PC that you can do, and one of them is kind of similar to GarageBand, so I want to make sure that you guys see that as well. So the first thing I want to show you is, like, if you're going to let me show you iTunes first, because that's a good program to You know, and basically what it is what they call it. It's a MP3 program, and you can do some really cool stuff with it. I'm just gonna take a CD I made of my music. I'm gonna put it in here. And the first thing I need to do when I first download iTunes is go up to the very top, and I think on PC it's under File, but on Mac it's under Preferences, and find the Advanced tab, and it's going to say something like Importing. And the default is ACC, and that doesn't play on everybody's MP3 players, but MP3s do. And I would suggest go ahead and do 192 as the kilobits. You can go higher if you want, but there's also like the space versus quality, and 192 seems to be pretty good for me. If you got if space is a problem, do 128 and 160. 160 is not bad. I used to do 160 forever. To the hard drives, just got really big and cheap, so I'll just do that now. And I hit OK for that. And this is one of my songs here. And now I can just click on a track and say I'm going to convert this to MP3. Okay. And give it a second or two to convert. And right now you can see it's ripping. That's what they call ripping the CD. Ripping a song from the CD. And there it is. So now I can hit eject here. See this right here? This is the eject button once the CD's on there, and it ejects the CD, and it comes out here to the side. I think you guys it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see that. And here's that track I just had. Now I can click on it and give it a name. I'll call it Nerd Song 2. And if I want, I can type my name in there as an artist or whatever. So Herb, whatever. All right. So there it is now. Once I have this on iTunes, now what I can do is I can take it and I can drag that to the hard drive. Just see how we did GarageBand, and see that little plus there. So now it's on the hard drive. Okay, and now I can kind of quit iTunes in a second. I'm going to show you this in a minute. If I did want to burn this as a CD, what I can do is I can take this song and drag it down here and see it as a plus. I click on this playlist, and all I have to do is hit burn disk. See this right here? It says burn disk. You put a CD in there, and then it'll burn it. We'll come back to iTunes in a minute. The other program that I like that's really, really cool, and it works on Mac and PC and Linux even, it's called Audacity. And what Audacity is basically a recorder. These computers have a microphone right up in this area over here. So what I'm going to do is I'll play part of it. Just play a song for you, a little short one. So that's cool just by itself. And if I hit rewind, it's going to play it back. That pretty much sounds like me. Now, what I can do now is that I can play a melody on top of it. Normally what I would do is have the headphones on, so I wouldn't hear it. But today I'll turn it kind of down a little bit, and I'm going to hit record again. That way I didn't get too much of a bleed through. But normally I wear headphones. That way I won't get. What bleed through is that you don't want to record what you just recorded on the next track, because you want both tracks to be separate from one another. And so that's what you normally do, is to wear headphones. But okay, not perfect. But over here's the volume. So if the melody, I want that to come out, I'll bring it up a little bit, and I can bring down the harmony down a little. See how that works? One little quick thing, I'll just show this real quick, that I love doing in Audacity, is that I can duplicate tracks. So under, I always hit, there it is, duplicate there, under edit. And I'll duplicate it one more time. And what I can do with this, then I can play around with panning. I can do a hard left, a hard right, and keep one in the center. I'll pull down the volume on these a little bit. That way it won't be too loud. That way when you hear it here in the headphones, it gets like really centered. You really can't hear it right now, but when you listen to it like on your iPods or whatnot, it's going to sound really centered. And I usually do that to all the tracks, and kind of play around with panning a little bit. Now that's cool by itself. Now I can do some other things like this. I can highlight all the tracks. I come under Effects and I can say Fade Out. Or I didn't like this. I got a little bit of in the beginning where I don't need it. I can just highlight all that, hit delete, and that's gone. And if I wanted to, if I really wanted to, Bandcamp, yes, yes, Bandcamp 2007. And now I got a vocal track on there as well. Bandcamp 2007. And so I'll pull the volume up on that because it's too soft. You may not want to hear it, but all right, so that's cool there. I know that's awesome. I'm going to highlight that track there and come under Effect, and I can do some cool things. It's not as many as in GarageBand, but I can do, you know, some phaser type stuff or delay or tremolo. You know,
What's tremolo?
Well, let's hear how it sounds. Yeah, that really didn't do much to it. Then go undo tremolo if I wanted to. If I wanted to do, I know like if I do like a phase or something like that, I'm sure I can do some. Bandcamp. Yeah, let's make it a little more wet. Bandcamp. Maybe that's a little bit of feedback. Bandcamp. Bandcamp. So I can go through and modify my sounds a little bit. The other thing that you can do on here that's really kind of cool is like if you're a little bit off on pitch, you know, I could take this. Now I'll do something that's crazy, but yeah. Let me change the pitch by 100%. So you can't go through and do some fun stuff like that. I can go up or down. You know, I can go down a fifth or down a third. Anyway, so those are some cool things you can do. And this program is 100% free. You can go home and download it right when you get there. And now the cool thing is that you go in a file, save it as an MP3. I'm sorry, export it as MP3 as a WAV file, and then you can take it to your CD burning program and burn a CD. Or if it's an MP3, you can mail it to your friends. So what I would say is this: all your everybody, your grandparents, they would love this. They would love anything that you do. And basically, I can put all the information if I want for MP3 on there, and there it is. So I could take it and burn it, send it to my email to my friends or family, or burn it to the CD, give it to my friends and family. And so you could do this for UIL stuff. You could do this for just a bunch of stuff. You have music you want to do. If you sing, if you rap, if you play clarinet and rap, you could do both at the same time. You know, so if you want to sing, and basically you can get a $5 microphone at any store. Basically, hook it up to your computer if you don't already have a microphone on your computer. So that's Audacity in a nutshell. Let me show you one or two things you need to do when you first get it, though. Come under Preferences. It should be on the file on the PC side, and on the very first one, Audio Input Output. Make sure it play other tracks while recording a new one. That way you can hear the previous track as you're recording the next one. Wear headphones so that way you won't get bleed through. Okay? Everybody understand what bleed through is now? Mm-hmm. All right, great. And then also what you have to do in the file formats, you have to go download what's called a lane codec. It's right there on the Audacity homepage. I'm going to show you in a minute. And you just have to find it, and then you can pick the bit rate that you want. So I did 160, which is fine. If you want to do a little bit higher, you can. If not, if you don't want to download it out, you can still save it as a WAV file and burn it as a CD. No problem. Right.
There's also a lot of other stuff you can do with the 20 with the last.
Yeah, the other thing that we can do is this. Is that to kind of use this a little bit like GarageBand, I took that thing that I ripped from iTunes, my song that I ripped from iTunes, and what I can do is this. I can say, all right, well, this part I want to sample this part here. I'm going to highlight that part there, copy it, make a new file. I'm going to paste it, and then I'll find another part of that song that I like. Maybe here at the very end. Take that, copy that, come back over to my new file, paste it, and now I can sort of play around with these things if I want to. If I wanted to paste it down here, I could paste it down there, and that way I have another track that I can move around. Hit this little thingamajig right here, and that's so I can move things around. And you know, if I were to play it back, okay, it's a little bit off, so I can move it around a little bit until I get to the place where I'm happy at. I can sing on top of it if I wanted to. Yeah, 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 or whatever I wanted to do, and then I can save it as a CD. So it's not quite as easy as GarageBand is. However, you can do it if you want to. You can go find loops on if you do a search for loops, free loops on Google, you can find a bunch of drum loops and synthesized loops and all that stuff. Or you can make them yourself in Audacity and loop them together yourself. Two last things. Let me show you in Finale Notepad how to get rid of measures. Yeah, that's not like that one. All right, let's say this here. Let's say this is a song I want to print. And before you print, let me see it first. Click on the measure tool, which is going to be the default tool anyways. When you first open up, click on that. Hold down Shift on the typewriter, and then you can just go under Measure up here and say Delete, and it's gone. And now I can print it. Before you print, let me just see it real quick and see if I can help you out, make it look a little bit better. So does everybody get that? Measure tool. Click on the track measure you don't want. Hold on Shift. It highlights what I want, and I can hit Delete, and it's gone. And then I can print from that point. Let me show you in GarageBand how to make a CD, and it's pretty easy to do. I got a bunch of CDs here that you guys can use. Let's say I want to take this let me say. So if you want to make a CD, watch this for me, okay? Come under Share once you're done. Export to iTunes. Send to iTunes. Okay. So there it is. Now what I do is I'll click over here and I make it a new playlist. Now watch this part. This is the hardest part right here. Making a new playlist, and now when I click on that playlist, that's that song that's there. I hit Burn Disk. I put a CD face up where you read when you can read put it face up in the computer here, and then it's going to burn it. When it gets done, to eject it, you can hit this button right here to hit eject. Okay? That ejects. Let me do that one more time. So once the song is in Audacity, in iTunes, I make a playlist. Click on the playlist, and if I want to make more than one, if you have more than one song, you can put on there. Pick the playlist you want, and just put as many of songs on there as you want. And once you have that, hit Burn Disk. Put the disk in there. It's going to do it. When it's done, hit Eject Disk. And even if you hover over it, it tells you what. Create a CD. Eject Disk. So it tells you right there even. All right. You got about 35 minutes to do something. As soon as you get something to a place that you want to burn or print something up, let me know. Thank you all so much. One last thing, and then I'll turn you guys loose, because I want to show you how to get this stuff. If you go on the internet, my name is kind of hard to spell. It's Herbert Midgley. However, if you go to Google and you type in Herbert, can you all spell Herbert? And nerd, I should pop up as #1 in Google. There's my homepage there, herbertmidgley.com. And on here, if you scroll down here a little bit at the bottom, I have what's called, on the second line of my links down here, I have summer camps links, summer camp links. Click on that, and here's a link to Audacity, iTunes, Notepad. So those are the 3 programs that are free that you can download.
And Notepad can work with PC?
Yes, sir. You can just,
Mr. Herbert?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Midgley, I'm sorry. The iTunes thing, I tried that last year. It didn't work. Like it said something was corrupted about that.
Do you have another computer now?
No, same computer.
You may want to try it again because they update iTunes all the time. So maybe the last one just didn't work with your system. Are you using XP?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you want to find me, I'm not Herbert Midgley. If you do this, you know, if you can't remember that, type I'm a nerd. I'm number 1 with that, and that'll take you to that page, and then you go to my home page from that point there. Okay. So I'm not too hard to find. I plan to put this video, and I guess if you're watching this video, you already know it. I plan to put this video on YouTube sometime, probably this weekend. So if you search on YouTube for SFA Band Camp, MIDI, Audacity, iTunes, Notepad, Herbert Midgley, you should be able to find it. Okay. So, anyways, thank you all for and thank you for coming out and doing summer band camp, and hope to see you all back next year and put some of this to use. Okay. Send me out an email if you need to.